video on something I want to have a faff around with. So, Austrian bread dumplings was what I saw, but spinach with spinach in, and I wanted to have a go, but I would just, the recipe that I saw had cream in it, and I don't really want to have to buy cream. So what I'm going to do is I've got some feta in the freezer which I've pulled out, so I'm just going to combine that with the milk to make that milk a little bit more creamy, but also kind of give like a bit of a sharp cheesy edge to it. So there's about 30 grams worth of feta and there's 70 grams worth of milk. This is already dirty because I've been making yogurt today, so I'm trying to cut down on the amount of washing up that I make, in all honesty. So I just kind of thought what we'll do is we'll just use that, and I'll blend it up and see what happens. Could have done with a big container, so I think we can get away with more cheese than that. So let's wait, let's do this properly, and then it's not a guesswork. So that's about 30 grams of cheese. Let's put in another 30 grams worth of cheese. I'll do it off camera because the board's wonky, and so if the board's wonky, it won't weigh things properly, which has been a problem in the past. So, on our hands. So we might not have to add all that liquid. That's about consistent, isn't it? So that's about the consistency of cream. So I reckon half and half. So half the weight of, that's nice, half the weight of milk. So yeah, 50-50 split. So I suppose we should have done that, shouldn't we? We should have done, there's 70, so we should have put another, let's do another 10 grams, so it's an equal quantity of each. That makes more sense, doesn't it? So, and then, because it's double the amount, we'll only need half of it, and I'll have a bit if I need to make a bit more. That's okay. So most of me, I'm recording, aren't I? Yeah, it's recording. I'm just not on camera, I'm just making noises. So that's better consistency, isn't it? That's better. So we've got 125 grams worth of spinach and wild garlic stalks as well, which I've had in the freezer, which I've defrosted. Squeeze the excess juice out, I've put a bit of pepper in there. 125 grams worth of stale bread, which is probably a little bit drier than stale, but we'll see how we go. And then we want an egg as well, don't we? So an egg. So we can, no, let's not mix the egg into there. Let's pour that into there. And I think we're going to have to mash this together. So egg, a large egg, but that'll be fine. So egg in there, and then something to whisk it with, just to kind of break it up a little bit. So that in there, and then let's use that container to weigh out 70 grams worth of this. So tear that off. So that's 70 of that. And that can go in there like that. And then we'll need some salt in. That's it. And the recipe said onion in, but I'm not going to bother with that. I just want to kind of see what happens. So a little bit of salt. Well, no, not too much, because the feta will be already slightly salty. Don't know why I wash my hands, because I'm going to get them straight in there, aren't I? So I might just mix this in and then leave it to set for a bit, and then see if we need to add any more liquid to it. Well, I don't know. It might be okay. Yeah, we might need to just let the bread soften for a little while and then mash it together. That looks about the right amount of bread to spinach. Wild garlic's making it smell lovely. So yeah, I think I will. I think I'll let that just all soften first, and then kind of bring it all together. Yeah, so we'll let that soak. So the bread has time to soak up all the liquid. Give it a taste now. Now I can eat raw eggs because all chickens in the UK are inoculated against salmonella. I don't think that's the case in the rest of the world. That's good. That's good. Oh, okay, so that's okay, isn't it? I think we're going to be okay with this amount of liquid. And if we keep mixing it all together, it doesn't look too bad. And then I've got some stock. So it was, what was I cooking? I was cooking ham. I cooked a ham, and then I used that ham stock to cook the carrots the other week at work. No, the other day at work. It wasn't the other week, it was the other day. So we're going to poach them in that hammy, carroty stock, which I kind of thought would be very nice as well. Recipe just says water, but I think water's a bit boring, isn't it? I think it definitely would have benefited from an onion, but I can't be bothered with that. But we have got the wild garlic, which is kind of compensated. So that's okay, that works. So I don't want to form it into balls now, and then I can leave it to set up in the fridge, because of the warmth of my hands and everything's at room temperature. It needs a little bit of time in the fridge to set. So I think that's okay. You don't need to allow everything to kind of combine, because we've already kind of done that. But that looks about the right kind of ratio of. I did think that was a lot of spinach to start off with, but that's not. So, but if we can do this with spinach, we can do it with wild greens, and if we can do it with wild greens, they're free. So that kind of fits in with my idea in life about making things, doing cheap food. So bread's next to nothing. Eggs have gone up in price, but they're still pretty cheap. You know, cheap. Pardon the pun. But they're all relatively inexpensive still. And feta, it's the cheap salad feta. Well, the cheap salad cheese. So it's not proper feta, but you know. And then balls. How big are the balls won't do? I don't know what I'm going to serve them with. I think these will be okay. That's all right. So one. Two. I have got a bit of spinach left actually, so we might just see if we can. I'm doing half the recipe, so I suppose we could, you know, only it's about the size of a golf ball. So we'll see where we get. So I could make a bit more up if I so wanted, or if it's a little bit too soft, this mixture, we can always add a little bit more bread. Yeah, so the program that I watched was on Austria and traditional food, and people kind of loved this little restaurant that they went to. I've seen a few different people go to the same restaurant on different programs on TV, and they all kind of loved the fact that it was traditional Austrian food. In the UK, not get away with serving bread dumplings with spinach to people. They wouldn't pay for that. Certainly not where I'm from. They'd think they'd look at the price of bread, spinach, and think you were ripping them off. Because people tend to like a big plate of food for not very much money. Anyway, so we've got 7 and a part 1. But that'll be fine. Right, so we'll let that. I'll wash my hands. We'll leave those in the fridge for an hour and a half while they're swimming, and then we'll cook those when I get back. And then if we want to make a few more, or we need to adjust the recipe with a bit more stuff in them, I do have more of the ingredients, so that should be okay. So let's poach the balls. So, we need a bit of salt in the stock because it's not that seasoned. So, a bit of salt in there, and then we're going to cook them simmer them gently for 20 minutes, I think. Sounds about right. We'll see anyway. Hopefully the egg will keep them together. But we'll just see. I reckon 20 minutes. And then, so I can't remember if I said the recipe right, but it was 125 grams worth of dried stale bread, and it was 125 grams of spinach, well, wild greens, whichever kind of you've got, and that's the weight of it cooked and the liquid squeezed out of it. So not the liquid that's in it, the liquid that you kind of squeeze out of it. You weigh after you squeeze the liquid out, and it needs to be 125 grams. One egg, and then it was 70 grams worth of milk and milk and cheese. So it was 35 grams of cheese, 35 grams of milk, pureed together, and then salt and pepper. I just want to do another batch. I've got a little bit of stuff left over, so we might as well use it up. So there is 125 grams worth of bread, same as the other recipe. We've got 70 grams worth of wild greens, we've got an egg, and we've got about 70 grams worth of the milk and cheese mixture, and I've seasoned it. So let's just see if that comes together in the same kind of way. So if we can use less spinach, that's kind of what I'm getting at. So if we know that the egg and the milk and the cheese and the breadcrumbs is the basic kind of recipe, and that's the basis of the recipe of the dumplings, and then we can add things to it. So I'm not going to mix the egg in this time. I'm just going to rely on the mixing and the squishing all together being enough. Oh, I should really set that for 20 minutes, but we'll see how we go. So let's see if we can just rely on that amount of liquid and me mixing it all around, mix up the egg without having to whisk it, because I'm trying to cook it. You know, I just seem to spend most of my time doing lots of washing up, so I'm trying to cut down on the amount of washing up that I do. So reusing containers before I put them in the washing up. So no, that's fine. I think we should be fine. So we'll leave. I think that's about right. So I think the 70 grams ish, 65, 70 grams worth of milk and the 125 grams worth of bread and one egg is about the right kind of ratio to make them. So, and then anything you also kind of want to add into it. So we've put in spinach, but put in anything you want, can't you? It's basically a meat-free meatball kind of mixture, isn't it, with the egg and the cheese. So that kind of begs the question that you could get away with more bread in like an Italian meatball. So like British sausages tend to have a lot of rusk in them, which is filler, you know, which kind of bulks out the meat. So, but you don't get that in European sausages. You don't get that rusk, and I probably suppose because European sausages can be dried as well. So you can make, if a sausage is mostly meat and fat, then you can actually dry it and cure it. Well, you couldn't do that with a sausage that had rusk in it, or breadcrumbs, or stale bread, or or something else to bulk it out. So I don't think you could. I'm not going to try it, but that's okay, isn't it? And that's about the same kind of consistency. So we know that. How does it taste? Since it's got spinach in it, it'll be nice with a bit of nutmeg. But anyway, there we go. So that works. So we know that ratio of bread, egg, and milk stroke cheese, or cream, if you wanted to just use cream instead of milk and cheese, is about the kind of right ratio. So that works. So I'm going to carry on cooking. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to carry on poaching those, and I'm going to serve them with a bit of brown butter, which is just what you do is you just put butter in a pan and slightly cook it and poach and burn the milk solids in it so it goes a nut brown colour. I think we need to poach those gently. I think if we boil them they're going to boil to bits. So I'll make a bit of brown butter, and that's how we're supposed to serve them. And then with a bit of grated cheese on top as well, but we'll see about that. We're trying to keep the costs down, aren't we? Right, I don't think they need 20 minutes. I think 15 is enough. And the butter is just about ready. So it's starting to foam, and you can smell it smells nutty and delicious. So I just need to cool the bottom of the pan down. So to stop something like that from cooking anymore, what you do is just dip it in a bowl of water, and it will cool the pan down enough that it will stop the butter from burning. So spinach meatballs. I want them a bit more drained than that. Slotted spoon, and then we'll cook the next batch as well, and then we'll see what we think. We'll see what we think. I have to take a picture, so I'll have to pause and take a picture. But apparently we need a bit of brown butter on them, and then we'll just grate on a bit of cheese. So brown butter for richness, and then cheap Italian hard cheese. Just on top like that, and then I better take a picture, and then we'll taste. Let's have a taste, see what we think. Obviously I want lots of cheese on it, and to dip it in the butter as well. You know, that's good, is that? That's good. What would I do? Would I do anything different? I think what I'd do, I grate hard cheese into the dumpling. I think. Very nice and filling. So I'm going to eat those, and I'm going to cook those other ones as well. So a gentle poach, not a rapid boil, and then golf ball size, and for poach for 15 minutes, something like that. I think it'd be about right. And I don't know what you'd serve them with. I think nut butter or brown butter. I think that's a little bit extravagant, to be honest, but those are nice. Those are nice. Surprisingly nice. I didn't think they'd be as nice as that, but they're lovely. And I think I'm just going to turn that up so it starts to simmer a little bit quicker. But I think, yeah, I think you could, if you use that ratio of bread and milk and egg, so the 60 grams worth of milk, 1 egg, 125 grams worth of bread, use that as the base, and then you can expand on that, and it will hopefully keep it together. And you use spinach in it, but you could use other vegetables as you like. So you could make them with courgettes. If you had a glut of courgettes, that would be okay. Or other kind of leafy greens, they'd work. Yeah. So, but I think I'd want my con. I think I'd be tempted to put hard Italian cheese in them as well, to make them to make them cheesy. Obviously I use that feta, which is, it doesn't taste that, there's not loads of flavour to it, So but I think you could get a better cheesy element to it by putting the hard cheese and mixing it into the stuffing balls. And you could put a little bit of meat in there as well. But they're nice. I'm going to enjoy those. Oh, I shouldn't put it in my mouth, but actually looks fresh. Just a bit to add on at the end. So I was kind of thinking that these are the second batch of dumplings. How do these taste? Yeah, they're good. No, I'm kind of thinking we've got the stock, haven't we? So I've used like a ham stock, but to use a chicken stock cube or a vegetable stock cube to poach them would be a good idea. And it's rather delicious, is that? So why aren't we putting that in the bottom of the bowl and eating the stock at the same time? That makes much more sense, doesn't it? So that's what I'd do. I'd serve the soup, I'd serve the stock in the bottom, and then you can break these up. I put the last of the burnt butter in as well, and then you're dipping them in the stock so they go super soft. Much even better. So they're cooking the stock, they give some flavour to the stock, and then you serve it with the stock, and you get to smash them up a little bit so they soak up all that stocky lovely goodness and flavour them even more. So I think that's the way to do it. And the burnt butter as well, and the cheese. I think that's the do. I think that's the dish. I think that's much nice. That's even better. It was nice before. That's even better. So that's what I would do, because that stock's lovely. So I'd follow the instructions on the stock cube if you're using. So I've got the stock cube kicking about. We have. So there's about 1.5 litres in there, and one stock cube wants to do. One stock cube is 450 millilitres. So 3 stock cubes in a litre and a half of liquid. A bit of the kind of right amount, and then season it, maybe with a bit more salt and a little bit more and some pepper, and then serve it like that. That's really good, is that? And that's even better, because then you're not wasting the stock, are you? You kind of get a more substantial meal because of it. But there we go. That works. That's delicious. A success. Even more